Why, hello. Let us continue after I get my stream set up. Dun, 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 dun. How do you do Streamlabs again? Go to the actual website. It's not on Twitch. Duh. We're gonna just do a little bit of. I don't know what we're doing. I'm a bit sore, and I don't really feel like playing anything. So I'm gonna just read for a little bit. Sorry, I want Snapchat. Don't you do that as spoilers. I'm getting things open. Alright. What was I doing? I don't remember what I was doing. Streamlabs is good. Okay. I was getting Yabs in here? I know, he's been live for 2 minutes and he hasn't played a game yet. F, F, F. He hasn't started reading. He hasn't started reading, sorry. Am I under Elden Ring? I am. Let's not be under Elden Ring. How about that? Stop. This game is what? The game is Zero Escape. 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors. There we go. Um, I think I'm good. Yes. Yes. Good. Stream. Good stream. No. Bad stream. Yes. Let's start. Save button. Yes. Did I save it last time? I hope I did. Hallway on the left, the cargo room headed straight towards the stern. This is very loud too. So I'm a bit late. I was watching the Halo show. I have no solid opinion on it yet. I mean, after Infinite, my Halo enthusiasm dropped in the toilet. So it couldn't get any worse.
A long hallway, huh? Let's check it out.
Junpei and the other three proceeded down and silently. Some distance along it, a large room opened up on the left-hand side. It looked familiar. An iron gate covered each of the elevators. Junpei and his companions drew to a stop and began to discuss what their next move should be.
Elevator before.
We've seen this elevator before.
We got off the one on the left just a little while ago.
Then we went through the number 6 door, and that took us to the engine room.
Yes, and after that we passed through the cargo room.
And now we're back here.
In other words, we made a loop. We're back where we started.
But we're on the opposite side. I wouldn't call that a loop. I would say that's progress, Junpei. Junpei approached the elevator.
We needed a card to get to this point.
I don't see a card reader here.
Perhaps we aren't able to activate it from this location.
Why don't you just try pushing the button? Yeah.
Gently pushed the triangular button on the wall. A moment passed.
It works.
Ellipses, ellipses. The elevator doors open and then eventually shut again.
So.
Yes, June. Pushing the button had apparently restored power to the
Good.
elevator.
Now we can go back if we need to.
What do we do? Should we return to C deck?
No.
No, why would you?
Going. Even if we do end up going back, I think we should see what's down there first.
I agree. Let's go.
Their decision made, Junpei and his companions left. Their decision made, sorry. Junpei and his companions left the elevators behind and continued down the hallway.
Looks
Sometime
like it's
later.
here.
Santo, who had been walking several paces in front of the rest, suddenly
Only
stopped.
one door.
They searched
If there's
around just in
anything
case.
else, it's the only way to go.
It was the
Alright.
door or nothing.
Let's open it.
Junpei took a deep breath, readied himself, and grabbed the doorknob and pulled the door open. He paused for a moment and stepped through into the room. And there he saw the number that hung over their heads as they'd woken up. 9.
The 9 door.
Like the numbers in every other door, this one too was a rough shape made of red paint. It was set into the back wall of the room. Well, we had up to 6, so... Right? That's what door we went through? I forget, it's been like 24 hours. Junpei leapt towards it with a sudden burst of hopeful energy. It was a large double door, heavy and full of importance. Grabbed the door handle and shook.
Of course it wouldn't be that easy.
Dude, you went through like 9 of these doors, no, 6 of these doors already. 5? 4? Red stat on the wall next to the door.
Vacant.
Spite on it.
Huh. We finally found it.
Junpei felt himself overwhelmed by the torrent of emotion. Alas, they found the exit, but cold gripped his heart, and he knew all too well why. As he stood frozen, unsure what to think or feel.
Huh?
Look! Behind you!
Spun around. And couldn't
Why?
believe what he saw.
A 9 door. There's another one. Why?
Junpei's voice was barely audible, even to himself, stumbled toward the second door as if somehow compelled. It was a small single door. Sat in the starboard corner of the room, on the same wall as the doors they'd entered from, but it was an
9,
opposite
No
corner.
matter how you look at it. The red is there too. So this is a real one?
Junpei shook the door handle pointlessly and muttered to himself.
Why the hell are there 2 doors?
Santo who answered.
There were always 2 doors. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Of course, we just assumed that there was only one. After all, why would there be more than one?
Oh man. We fell.
Jays.
There are 2 doors. That means that all 9 people who had met at the central staircase could escape. No one would be left behind. Now it makes sense why the bracelets are numbers. 1.
Now which one did we
9,
choose?
Divided into teams of 4 and 5 people. The digital root of both teams ends up being 9. Take 1, 2,
But 2 are
7, 8,
dead.
and 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 for example. The digital root for both teams would be 9. Or 2, 3, 4, 9 and 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. The digital root is still 9. There are a bunch of combinations that work and they all end up the same way. If one team has the digital root of 9, so would the other one. What does that mean? The answer's simple. From the very beginning, the Nonary game was designed to save all 9 people. That's how it was meant to be. Zero didn't lie. He never said there'd be only one 9 door. But anyone who'd found themselves in the game would have assumed that was the case. Fights would have broken out. One team would likely betray or deceive the other. Someone might be hurt. Someone might get killed. But eventually, they'd reach this very same room and realize how pointless all their infighting was. There were 2 doors. There was no need to kill each other.
They'd understand and be appalled, overwhelmed
This
with guilt
game
at what they'd
was
done.
designed for that purpose. This Nonary game. We were all arguing and fighting over doors at the beginning. But if there had been one slip up, one tiny mistake that led to more, everything could have been so much worse now.
Thought of it sent a chill down his spine.
So, what are we going to do, Junpei?
A voice broke through Junpei's frantic thoughts. What?
Huh?
Santa's voice.
Right.
Hey, keep it together, man.
Sorry.
Jeez. So what do we do?
We wait for the others or go look for him?
We need to think about our next step.
Oh, I need to know what time it is.
Our numbers are 1, 3, 5, and 6. That's a digital root of 6.
The 4 of us can't open the number 9 door.
What about the 3 of us?
The 4.
I'm not doing the math.
Wait. Don't tell me.
Yep. There's one combination that'll let 3 of us open the 9 door. That's why
Or
I'm
we just
asking
kinda
you
wait.
now.
What now?
Took no time at all to determine the answer. There was only one combination, 3 people that would give a digital root of 9. 1, 3, 5 equals 9. That would mean
We gotta go back.
wasn't a possibility he was willing to consider.
Yep.
Santa and Ace agreed.
I agree. We cannot leave June behind.
Junpei let out a breath he hadn't realized he had been holding.
Are you sure? I don't mind staying.
June's body betrayed her true feelings. Her eyes were wet with the beginnings of tears.
It's okay.
And her legs
There's
shook.
no way we'd leave you behind.
Santa had said when Junpei had known the moment he realized which 3 people could go through the
I'd
door.
rather drown at the bottom of the ocean than escape with this sausage fest. Maybe I'll get to go to Atlanta.
Are you sure you don't mean Atlantis?
Huh? Oh, right.
Funny guy. Perhaps it was a sudden reassurance that no one wanted to leave June behind, but Junpei laughed harder than he had for some. I'm so convinced we picked the right door. This is the A team here. Santa and Ace smiled. I'm telling you, if we had Lotus, we were gone.
Guys.
Sorry. June blinked tears from her eyes and bit her lip. She didn't seem to know
Very
what
well.
else to say.
Best we head back to C-Deck then. We should be able to take the elevator we passed earlier. Perhaps Clover, 7, and Lotus will have returned from door 1.
Even as they spoke, they knew finding the others wouldn't
Even
improve the
with all
situation.
7 of us.
Ace knew it.
Standing
They all
around
knew it.
here isn't going to accomplish anything, don't you agree? Let's find the other 3 first.
I haven't
and
run the
then search
numbers,
for
and I don't
another
really feel like
solution.
doing it because I'm
I
tired.
guess you're right.
All right, let's go.
Ace looked at all 3 of them, then turned and headed through the door.
Okay.
Santa and June followed. Junpei started towards
to
the
think
door
of
and then
it.
stopped.
What is this room?
Didn't seem terribly important now,
We
but
were
what
so
exactly
focused
was
on the
it?
Doors, we didn't even look around.
Had the coffin in the center of it. Red carpet ran between 2 columns of wooden benches that ran the length of the room.
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. But what kind?
With a mummy. Facing the 9 door was the carpet leading to the bow of the ship. And at the end... Was it an altar, perhaps? There was a small rectangular alcove at the end of the carpet. Oh, we pull out the corpse of the 9th man? And we drag Snake's arms back? We all get out. Resting on top of the platform was a coffin.
What on earth is a coffin doing in a place like this?
Before Junpei had time to answer the question,
Hey, the hell are you doing? Let's move.
Santa's voice echoed from the
Right.
the hall outside.
I'll be right there.
Junpei turned on his heel and left the quiet, somber room. Dooka dunka, dooka dunka, dooka dunka, dooka dunka, dooka dunka, dooka dunka. They took the elevator up to C deck. Okay. Once there, they headed back towards the main hall and the central staircase. So is it like a... Okay, it is like, what's it called? You can go to wherever you want. I don't know if you could do it yet, or if like once you beat the game you could do it. Or if you get one ending. I'm gonna guess 1 is left, 2 is right. 3 left. We went through door 7? Is that what happened? Or did we go through door 8? I don't remember. What about here? 4 and 5? We went through 4? We went through 5. That was left path. Up the 4 door. Never mind. Really? Ninth man, Clover. And who else was Ace? They went through the 4 door. Am I dying? 9? Plus 3. Sorry, Clover is 4. 13, and then Ace, 14. Then, yeah, okay, they went through the 5th door. Okay. That seems about right. So we must have gone through the door 7. So whatever it is, the option here, we probably go through the left side. Whatever the choice is. Or, no.
Look, it's.
Did it take them long?
7 and Lotus.
They didn't look happy?
We've got a problem.
Clover is gone.
What?
Junpei and his 3 companions looked at one another,
What do
turned
you
back to
mean,
7 and
gone?
Lotus. Santa, Ace, and June had their own questions to ask.
Why?
You two went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you?
Ace. A dementia ringing in your ears? 7 and Lotus responded
yeah,
as
went
best
through
they
the door
could.
together.
But Clover barely spoke to us.
She just did her own thing the whole time.
There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1.
She wouldn't let us into the 4th room
She just said, I'll take care of this one.
and shut the door.
She must have blocked it with something on the other side.
We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out.
We called for her, but she didn't answer.
So I kicked down the door and we went into the room.
But
It was empty.
Clover wasn't there.
Okay, she's in the
Door on
coffin.
other wall.
And it was open.
We figure she opened the door and left by herself.
We ran after her, of course, but
Well, obviously we didn't find her. We figured that much out.
Clover's gone.
When did
We may
this
talk
start?
for a moment.
We got here just before you.
You certainly have excellent timing.
So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase?
No, we haven't.
If you get a choice between go back to the 9 door and look for her, I think we choose the 9 door, but I'm not really sure. His voice had an edge
Very
of
well.
resolve and concern.
We'd best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's
Then somebody
begin.
else dies.
Yeah.
Oh, what time is it? Quick nods all around, and the 6 remaining players spread out. Junpei and June ran to the central hospital
She's not
room and
here.
looked around.
No, she isn't.
They searched a little longer, but with no luck. They couldn't find
No sign
Clover.
of her. Let's go.
Finally, they gave up and left the central hospital room. Slowly, they made their way back to the hallway. At last, they reached the stairs, and Junpei
We should
spoke.
Probably split up. I'll head back to the stairs and take the elevator down to E deck. June, you can take the stairs up to B deck.
All right, that sounds good. But,
What?
could you stop calling me by that code name when we're alone?
Huh? Oh, sure, right. I'll do that.
There was a reason Junpei persisted in calling her June even when they were alone, although perhaps not the best reason. He was embarrassed to call her by the nickname he'd used when they were children, Canny. 9 years ago, it came naturally. After all, they were children. They were 12. I mean, yeah, I guess children, but now that they were adults, it felt strange. Regardless of what he might hope for, to call a woman he wasn't dating by such a childish nickname felt odd to him. Of course, to call him Miss Kurashiki would be even more awkward, and simply Kurashiki would seem a little brisk. What about her first name? Although he couldn't put his finger on why, somewhat forward to call her Akane when they hadn't seen one another for so long. Are you just a weirdo? Simply easier for him to call her
Jumpy.
June and leave it at that.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
All right, I'm going then.
Yeah, be careful, Kane.
June, or perhaps more appropriately, Canny, blushed and smiled.
Too, Jumpy.
Yeah, got it.
Junpei looked after her for a moment, and she ran up the stairs and turned around and looked off to the hallway. Oh my god, she has a name? I could never call her by that. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it, but to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing the fatal blow while he lies on the ground. Lay in the dark place, June smiled, giving him hope both for escape and possibly something else. It hoped they raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door, and there she was. A woman sat, slouched against the wall. Lotus. Junpei felt his blood turn to ice. Her body was limp, and her skin smooth and as pale as always. It was covered in bright red blood. Junpei felt his chest constricted. He couldn't breathe, and his legs began to shake. A slow, cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. He felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind was blank, all his thoughts replaced with endless hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk toward Lotus slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Finally, he stood next to her. Robotically, he bent down and put his hand against her neck. There was no pulse. No rise and fall for breathing. It was slightly warm. Something somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind told him that meant she had been killed recently. As Junpei thought, his mind slowly returning, she had been killed. Someone had killed her. It was a deep cut on the left side of her chest. Blood still oozed from it, although clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. The weapon had been a knife then. Perhaps she had been stabbed in the heart once. She would have died immediately. Took a little comfort from knowing that she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice. Lotus's bracelet was gone. And her pulse wreathed. Then the door will only open for 9 seconds. You best remember that. Are we going to be able to play hot potato with her wristband? We're going to go through a door and then throw it back into the room? Was that why the killer had ended Lotus's life? So that they might have the number 8 bracelet? If that were true, then the killer, whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet, perhaps more accurately, the person who wanted to gain the most by painting bracelet number 8. I mean, was the 9th... We didn't check the 9th man's, right? Which we didn't. And I don't remember Snake's situation about his bracelet. I still think that Clover is a psycho. A little psycho. A little freak. But for their numbers add up to 9, let's just say 18. 8, 4, and then we need to get 15. So I guess it would be me who would be next to die. If it is Clover, still want to start with Clover. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from the number 8 bracelet? Thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when... Good shot. Heard a noise, a sound like a sharp knife cutting through wet meat. Struck him as strange that the noise came from inside his own body. A moment later, the pain hit him. It wasn't merely pain, there was heat, extreme heat as well. He felt as though molten iron had been splashed against the side of his body. Finally, his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed. But where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. Given the circumstances, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Whoever killed Lotus had done the same to Junpei as well. The voice was a little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Junpei turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of his attacker. But as he did, the knife dug itself in deeper, twisting viciously. Collapsed to the floor, a puppet with his strings cut. His arms and legs lay there, fell, oddly twisted and awkwardly positioned. Junpei's body was entirely numb. How he could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. He lay on the floor, his life ebboning away. Junpei finally saw his attacker, 2 tiny images of the killer reflected in his eyes. With the recognition came nothing. He felt no emotions, no anger, no sadness, no regret. Paralysis that had claimed his body had reached his mind. The killer glanced down at his body. Then without a word climbed to the elevator and was gone. The eyesight began to fade, the world grew blurry and began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into the edges of his mind and worked inexorably inward. Soon it swallowed up the last that remained of Junpei's mind, and his consciousness left him. Nothing more. Into utter emptiness he fell. Into zero. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. Bad end. It's not like we had a choice in the last, like, 20 minutes since we chose a door. Reach one ending. Game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Make sure you save your progress now to retain all information you acquired. Memory of Escape has been added to the title screen. Memory of Escape enables you to replay the escape rooms you have completed. In order to save this info you obtained during your playthrough, after saving the game will restart from the beginning, please select the save slot. Okay, that ending done. But we didn't have a choice ever. That's why I'm kind of... We just locked? We didn't take the gun, is that why? We don't have a key at some point. We get a key from here? I just don't really get what we could have gotten by this point, you know what I'm saying? We can go the other route. But we can also just come to... I don't think we can take the gun. I don't think we can. That's locked. We can go a different route, or we go back up to here and just go through the beginning again. It doesn't matter to me. I feel like just going to door 8 or 2 is the best bet here.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 7 pieces.
No, I'm sorry.
Just double checking.
Yes.
Can't believe we're...
We need to make the whole thing fair. Hurry.
Yeah.
But X was skip. It is skip. You gotta hold it in. Okay.
Ace request.
Oh, you guys just press it. We don't hold it. Okay, I thought you had to hold it.
My choice is door 2.
Santa was unconvinced.
Wait a minute there. You cheating?
Cheating?
I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted.
How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier.
Let me see that.
Sure, here.
Everybody shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. Others peered at it as well. So Junpei quickly slipped a piece of paper he had been hiding into his pocket. Although we'd never know it now, Santa had been justifying his suspicions. Junpei had switched to
I had
papers.
3 pieces of paper ready.
For doors
I put
1,
the
2,
one
and
with door
6.
6 on it into the pot.
Put a small mark on it so that he'd know
I just
which one
needed
it
to make
was.
sure I
This
drew
is...
last. After I saw everyone else's result, I just chose whatever door I wanted. If the number I'd already put in matched, then I didn't have to switch the paper out.
Well, what does it say?
Fought the urge to smirk.
You got lucky.
Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated.
So we know who's going through door 2. That'd be me, Lotus, and Junpei.
7, 8 plus
The other
5 equals
problem
20.
is the other 2 teams.
June and I want door 6.
Clover and I choose door 1.
That's not good. We can't open either of those doors with only 2 people.
Everyone was silent. Suddenly Clover spoke, her face blank and
Why don't
cold.
Santa and June go into door 1 with Ace.
Huh?
Well,
Looked at one another. 3 plus 6 plus 1 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1.
And what will you
Only
do,
Ace
Clover?
spoke.
I'll be waiting at the stairs. You guys are coming back here, right? That's what 7 was saying, wasn't it?
That had been what 7 said.
We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. That's how the notary game works.
That's how the notary game works.
I'm sorry, but I just want to be by myself for a while. You understand, right?
The emotion on her face, but it was drawn and pale, and her eyes were red. No one had the heart to contradict her. Room grew very quiet. Silence drifted down over everything like a blanket of fresh snow. It was Santa who finally spoke.
I'm going through door 1. That all right with you, June?
Yes.
You
Well,
nodded.
we'll be going then.
Let's move too.
Donkey, donkey.
Right. Let's go.
I'm assuming any type of key or whatever we get gets like barred into our pocket. We permanently have it. It's like that password set. Like I don't have to like if I go like a different route at some point after we get like a key or item or whatever, I don't have to like we have a key here apparently. This isn't locked or whatever. So I don't have to go and get this again and then go back through everything just to get it again.
I won't see June for a while, but this was my choice. I'm just going to have to suck it up. Seven said we'd all see each other again, and I'm going to believe that.
Took strength from that thought.
The other group went to A deck to go through door 1. Clover joined them. Our group is on our way too. We're heading to the bottom deck using the elevators. I wonder what we'll find down there.
Stepped off the elevator and headed for
Ready?
door 2.
Yeah, anytime.
I'll go first.
One by one, they put their palms under the recognition device, and 3 asterisks blinked to life on the screen. Look at it. No. Boot it.
Let's go.
Door opened. They leapt inside.
Where the hell is it this time?
I don't see
They're
it.
always freaking out.
There it is. It's right there.
Fortunately, it took them only moments to find the dead. They had been placed just inside the room, right next to the number door. Gathered around and quickly scanned each of their bracelets.
It stopped.
Yeah, it stopped.
Junpei could feel his heart pounding again, the inside of his ribs. Seven and Lotus were breathing hard and fast.
Man, I'll never get used to that.
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to. We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
Damn right.
All right.
Junpei looked around
This
again.
hallway's pretty short, but it's got 5 doors. 3 on the left, and only 1 on the right.
Don't forget the last one at the end of the hall.
But it's got
Yes,
a
it
metal
has
plate
up to
in front,
5.
so I doubt we're gonna get anywhere that way.
Okay. Sorry, it was the wire. Taking a look around the room himself, Seven spoke.
Alright, let's get started. I think we'd probably better split up. You okay with that?
Yes, no problem.
Sure thing.
Then I'll take this first one.
Seven nodded to them and stepped into the room closest to him.
I'll try the one next to it.
I mean, could I go back and just mess with the coffin? Was that like an option? Love to mess with the coffin. Maybe not until we get like a combination or whatever.
Well,
This last
guess I'd
gameplay was
better
left
get
alone.
started too.
Looked intently at the remaining 3 doors. Emergence. Seek a way out. Uh-huh. What the heck is this supposed to be? Like a drawing of a whirlpool or something? I'm about to guess to say it's trying to look like water. Little tile in the drain. There's no way we're going to be able to pull it up out of there. I'm going to have to use our heads for this one. Alright, let's figure this thing out. If the water doesn't work. Doesn't matter how much Seven turns this thing, no matter nothing's coming out. Has the water been shut off somewhere else? No, TP. Toilet paper tube, huh? Seriously down, I'm gonna be. I'm seriously down. I'm gonna need this for anything. Part of the. It's thinner than the rest. In fact, this doesn't really look like it's part of the rest of this thing. Rod feels loose. Maybe I'll give it a couple of turns. Here we go. Screwdriver shaft. This is a screwdriver shaft. Missing a handle though. Even if we run into a screw that fits, we're gonna have a hard time of it without a handle. Really? You can do it. Well, if we can find a handle, maybe they'll do us some good. You really don't need to, as Philip said, yes. Handle's pretty loose. Loose? You think it'll come off if you pull on it? Fell off, huh? Look at this, the handle doesn't really fit into the string. Maybe it wasn't meant to be attached to it. The metal rod into this handle. Thank God it's the right kind of screwdriver for this screw. Awesome, we can totally use this. Dang, the screwdriver looks like a soldering iron. You think it's some sort of industrial grade screwdriver? It doesn't really matter anyway. We got this thing, we can unscrew the Phillips screws we run into. Or what about, I was thinking... symbol in the toilet lid, huh? A little fishy to me. Sun symbol, but it doesn't look like the ones on the doors. Flush me. It was pretty nasty to begin with, but the inside's even worse. Honestly, I'm amazed you could bring yourself to touch it. Ah, there's way nastier stuff out there in the world than this gross toilet. You're a real deep thinker, aren't you? Dirty blanket on the bed. Can you lift up the dirty blanket? No? This is a mess. It's not even a bed anymore. Can't say I want to sleep there. Can't pull it out. Later. Oh, there's more rooms. Didn't realize. What the heck? It's not opening. Something on this drawer. I don't trust it. Got the screws off. Let me open the drawer. Can you? You got both of them off? Oh, okay. Nothing in here. Well, maybe the drawer is what we need. Drawer, huh? Alright, let's yank the thing out. Desk drawer. Bump on the back. I wonder what it's used for. Maybe there's a hole somewhere and these bumps line up with its it'll trigger a hidden switch or something. Some weirder stuff doesn't seem that far-fetched. Trigger was the handle, so then we have these two back here. But okay. Pretty old chair, 7 setting it, probably break. Huh? Say something? Nothing at all. Later. Somebody made some wavy blue lines in this mirror with blue paint. Is that a drawing of a blue scarf? No, maybe not. Drain's kind of a weird shape for a drain. I think they made it the shape for a reason or just for fun. But now when the faucet, no way we can get the water out like this. If we can find a knob or something that'll work on this one, then we should be able to get some water to come out of this thing. Hanging from the wall. Pull the string, it must be the toilet that flushes. Moon. What a filthy, disgusting moon. Yeah, it's pretty filthy, but it's precious. It's a precious hint. Let's remember it, alright? I refuse to touch this, I refuse. What the heck's wrong with you? I don't want to touch it ever. Paper seems pretty old. Ew, how the heck can you touch that? It's horrible. Well, it's not like I've actually really got a choice, do I? It's not like I want to. I'm sorry? A towel? That's a towel? Looks like a towel. I wonder if the design means anything, though. Maybe you should consider what the design might be. Perhaps it'll give us a hint, huh? I'm aware. Freeze to death if it were the winter. No kidding. If I try to sleep here, my skin would dry out in no time. Not like you were that young anymore. That shouldn't have really meant. My Junpei, aren't you lucky? Seems you'll die before you have a chance to grow old and hideous. I'm sorry, you're right. The dry skin is a woman's worst enemy. Bed looks even sadder without the pillow. Terrible bed. I'm sleeping on a bed like that. Turn me around. It's great. Nothing in the drawer? Yeah. Something's not right though. Handle on that drawer doesn't really fit, you know? It just looks that messy. Well, why don't you take it out? I mean, can I remove... Can I combine with the screwdriver to take it out? Maybe I can. We lost the screwdriver. Or without a handle. Look closely, you see there's a mirror in the back of it. Lotus, you okay? Did you break? What do you think is going to happen if you put a mirror in front of a woman? Alright. Sweet, the handle I got off that drawer fits onto the faucet perfectly. Now I can turn on the water. Junpei, what are you doing? Pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm running the water. You can see that. I'm asking you why you're just letting it run like that. Think about it, Lotus. The faucet didn't have a knob when we found it, right? What do you mean? Just watch. Any time now. Water's filling up? Doesn't that just mean the pipes are clogged? Whoops, let's turn it off for now. Did anything change? The water stopped flowing. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. Junpei, I'm leaving this one to you, alright? I wish to get some water. Couple heavy lines in the mirror. Let it. Where? Water in this room too? What do you mean this room too? Well, I turned on the faucet in the other room and it looks like they made the water come up through here. Drain in the other room just runs here and the water from over there pushes out the tile. Junpei put the wet tile into his pocket. He was about to turn away when...
What the?
And there was behind him. Spun around to see Seven kneeling on the floor. Face was rigid and pale. Droplets of sweat covered his forehead.
What's going on? Are you okay, man? You're sweating like crazy. Are you alright?
Concerned, he'd never seen Seven like this before. Although the other man lifted himself to his feet and shaky legs.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just got a little dizzy, that's all.
His face was pale and his breathing was heavy. Sweat was pouring off his face and staining his shirt.
Definitely more than just a little dizzy. Are you sure? You don't look so good.
Seven didn't answer. Half of his face was twisted, as if distorted by its extreme pain. His eyes were glazed. Finally, he spoke.
What am I doing here?
Huh? What are you
Words made no
talking about?
sense.
We opened the number 2 door and walked in here. Don't tell me you forgot.
No, that's not what I mean.
He shook his head several times as if trying to clear something from it.
I think some of my memories came back. I think I've been here before.
Huh?
I said I've been in this room before.
You were here?
Why? Sorry, at the bud.
No.
Suddenly, Seven was mumbling to himself. They were words Junpei didn't understand. Seven's hoarse voice trailed off, and Junpei couldn't make out what he said.
That?
Seven's brow furrowed furiously, and he ground his teeth back and forth.
It's right there. I feel like I'm this close to remembering everything, but I just can't.
Seven stopped, frustrated, pulled his hat off, and ran a hand through his hair. Suddenly, he looked up, his eyes wide.
Experiment. There was some kind of experiment going on this ship.
An experiment? What sort of experiment?
They were trying to control people, or something like that.
What the hell are you talking about?
Junpei didn't know what to make of Seven's story. Instead, he simply stared at Seven and continued.
Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were in the experiment, I mean. I think there were 4 or 5 more, but I don't remember all their names. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here.
Seven began to mumble to himself and wander aimlessly about the room. He looked confused. So far as Junpei could tell, the man was simply rambling, and there was odd twitches into his movements.
Cradle, Pharmaceuticals. Those kidnapped kids. Was I working that case?
Seven continued to mumble to himself about things that meant nothing to Junpei. Junpei didn't have any answers for him, of course. Couldn't understand what was happening to Seven. All he could do was wait. For a few minutes, Seven finally stopped. Crouched down and looked under the bed. His face registered mild surprise and he began to mumble to himself again.
Holmes gone? No, maybe it was a different room. There's gotta be a ton of rooms on this boat that look just like this one.
Junpei could contain himself no longer.
Do you remember? Maybe you could stop talking like a crazy person and tell me what's going on here.
Seven stood up slowly.
It's not like I really remember everything.
I figured you were a fisherman.
Bits and pieces, and they're scattered and don't make much sense.
Because the overalls, it looked like a fisherman overalls.
Bits and pieces then.
Junpei could feel that whatever Seven had remembered, it was important, very important. Seven drew a large, muscled hand down across his face. Wiped his sweat from his brow, he spoke.
I can remember, I think I was a cop.
A cop?
Yeah. I was looking for that group of kids that got kidnapped 9 years ago. You remember that, right? It was all over the news.
Yeah, I was still in school. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some of it. I think it was a bunch of kids right around my age. They all just disappeared. Nope, it was all over TV and the newspapers every day. So you're saying you were investigating it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I guess I found something. There was this medical company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals that had something to do with those kids. After I figured that out, I managed to get some information out of somebody who worked for them. I think it was...
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
Yeah, that had to been it. That's why I went to the wharf.
Yo, he's strapped, man. Golden suit and everything. What are you wearing gold for? You're at the Arch thinking cop. Can you even afford that?
In the shadows, I searched the harbor until I found the ship he was talking about. There was a bunch of movement near it. Men in black suits, many of them were carrying large bags. The bags. There was something about the way they moved as they were carried. No doubt about it. There were human beings in those bags. I moved before I realized it. I came out of hiding, my gun already in my hand.
Don't move.
I felt metal touch the back of my head.
Drop the gun.
He kept digging the cold metal thing into my skull. There was nothing I could do. Did what he said and laid my gun on the ground. Then suddenly, there was a sharp pain in my neck. A needle.
A drug?
That was my last thought.
One sec.
My face hit cold concrete. I was out like a light after that. I woke up on a hard floor. Damn it. Shit, my head hurts. Where am I? A small, shabby bed, a dirty sink.
I'm gonna save this here and I'll be right back. Take off auto,
No
please.
privacy.
I'll be back in just. How do you? It's a view. I'll be back in just a moment.